we need to change our behavior. Specifically, I recommend, number one, stop falling in love with politicians and stop being loyal to political organizations that are not committed to your best interests. The Democratic Party is not committed to Black America. The Republican Party is not committed to Black America, nor should we be committed to them. The problem with Black people is that we have to like people in order to vote for them. We have to like people in order to vote for them. That's not good. You don't have to like somebody's personality in order to enter into a business arrangement for mutually beneficial outcomes. People do business with people every day that they do not like. You don't have to like somebody to do business. You simply have to have an understanding with them. We have to get out of this personal relationship with politicians and get more interested into the outcomes of a temporary political alignment or agreement. So that's number one. Let's become more non-emotional and more intellectual in our assessment of political candidates and political parties. Number two, we have to start building independent Black institutions and organizations. We will not survive. We will not survive the 21st century if we do not build our own community infrastructure. We need our own banks. We need our own schools. We need our own hospitals. We need our own social services. We need our own factories. We need our own distribution networks. Black people had better get serious about embracing the reality that a future on this planet or in this country will only be guaranteed for those who build it for themselves. The days of waiting for the United States government to deliver to you resources and opportunities are over. America has effectively and successfully propagated a narrative that says she has done all she needs to do to help Black people compete on an equal footing with whites. And the culmination of her contribution to the Black equality movement was the election of President Barack Obama. And unfortunately, to our detriment, Black Obama co-signed the narrative that he was the culmination of an unofficial reparations package for Black people. We bought into that, we co-signed it, and we are now suffering from it. Many of you who follow my work, you have heard me tell you before that Donald Trump will be the alarm clock that awakens the sleeping Negro who took the Barack Obama sleeping pill. You are now awakened. And it is our fault that America can now ignore us because we treated Barack Obama as if he was some sort of gift from God. Number three, we have to build our own schools. We must build our own schools. You cannot ever expect the same community that enslaved and dehumanized you to properly prepare your children to compete equitably with their own. The miseducation of Black children, and boys in particular, is done on purpose to guarantee that opportunities for white children and white males in particular will always be protected and safeguarded. To say this another way, your Black son is put in special education, and your Black son is given an inferior education, and your Black son is diagnosed with ADHD, and he is given dangerous mind-altering medications so that by the time he becomes an adult, his brain, his mind, and his opportunities will be so impeded that the American social order need not worry about him being able to take any opportunities or resources away from the white child. If you do not want black children to remain a permanent underclass in this country, you're going to have to create independent educational institutions in order to liberate the consciousness of our youth in order that they can compete with the self-esteem and self-belief necessary to rid themselves of racism and white supremacy. Let us not fool ourselves. Black people suffer from a learned helplessness. Let us not fool ourselves. Black people are largely a self-defeated people. I don't care how many trips you take to Africa. I don't care how much comedic science you know. It doesn't matter how many history books you have read. It doesn't matter whether you dress in an African way or sat at the foot at some of our grandmaster teachers. At the end of the day, you judge a people's desire for freedom by the extent to which they have went to secure it. You judge a people's thirst for liberation by the extent to which they have gone to obtain it. You cannot tell me that we want to be free, and yet we send our children to America's public, charter, private, parochial, and independent schools so they can be taught how to worship European culture and hate their own native African culture. You cannot tell me that black people want to be free after voting for President Joe Biden. They go right to the streets and start hemorrhaging billions and billions of dollars on useless Christmas gifts that would have been better used, funds and money that would have been better used building the institutions and infrastructure that we need. Show me how a man spends his money, and I'll show you how motivated he is to change his condition. Show me how a man spends his money, and I will show you how motivated he is to change his condition.